are here back from Simple Digital School today. As we all know, we have already started with the MIS lecture series, and today we have another model to discuss, which is SDLC Model 3. As we know, system development we are studying currently, and today we have SDLC Model 3, which is Evolutionary Prototyping Model. So let's start with the same. Before we move on with the evolutionary prototyping model, let's see the pitfalls of waterfall and V model, that where they were actually lacking. Both of them does not modify the requirements once decided. So you cannot modify the requirements once decided in both these models. This is the biggest drawback, because if a customer wants to modify anything, he or she cannot. Now, so it can be used only where requirements are predefined clearly. In case you have a predefined requirements, very clear requirements, then only go for the waterfall or the V model. Customer can preview the system only after the implementation. In the last phase almost, customer can see the systems working. There is no risk analysis involved in both these models, so the failure rate cannot be checked. Now, the evolutionary prototyping model. What is this? What are the terms evolutionary prototyping meant here? Let's see. Evolution. What does this term evolution means? Evolution means the gradual process of change and development. Whenever we are looking forward for a continuous change, which is for the betterment and development, that is called as evolution. That is why the term evolutionary is used here, so that you have a system which is continually changing, upgrading and developing as per the needs. Again, second term is prototype, which is used here for prototyping. Prototype means it refers to the working model basically here. What is a working model? We can call it a toy implementation of a system. That is, the first prototype refers to the first toy implementation of the system. You can see few of the functions of it, you can review it, and obviously look for the gradual and better changes development through the evolution. Right? So here evolution and prototype, both these terms are very important. Now, evolutionary prototyping is a software development method where a prototype is developed firstly. Now, in this particular method, when we talk about evolutionary, means which is continually changing, continually developing, and a gradual new development is introduced. Prototyping means every time new prototype is generated. So this is a software development method where we are getting the prototypes generated, means we have a working models generated at first go. After receiving initial feedback from the customer, subsequent prototypes are produced with each additional functionality or improvements until the final product is approved. Now this is very important. First, initial feedback. At every prototype's release, the feedback is taken by the customer, and if the customer is satisfied or not is checked. The new improvements or the changes are introduced as per the needs of the customer, and then only additional functionalities are added in the next prototype. Now, till when this functionality will be added? Till the time customer is not satisfied. So the number of prototypes which are generated, it depends upon the customer's choice and customer's satisfaction here. And the final product is approved only when the customer is fully satisfied. Once the final product is approved, then only it is engineered. Once your final product or the final prototype is approved by the customer and the development team both, then only it is engineered and fully developed and tested. Now, this is the prototyping model's first look. You will be listening to the customer. Number one, you are listening to the customer. Then, build, revise or mock-up means you are generating here the prototype. So you are building here the prototype in a build or mock-up, that is the step 2. Then customer tests or drives the mock-up. Here the customer plays an important role to check up all the requirements, and if the customer is satisfied, it's fine. Otherwise, new revised requirements are given by the customer. Again prototype is built up, again it is given to the customer, and this cycle goes on until the customer is not fully satisfied. Now let's give a look to the detailed prototyping model, which is also known as evolutionary prototyping model. They are the similar terms. Now requirements. Requirements are firstly gathered, then the quick design is made, implementation is done, customer is evaluating the system. This is your first cycle where you are developing the first prototype and customer evaluation is done, where the customer is giving the feedback. If it is not accepted by the customer, then the requirements are refined as per the suggestions of the customer, and again it goes here for the second prototype. This is how in a cyclic manner the prototypes are generated. Once the prototype is accepted by the customer, means customer has fully approved your prototype in terms of functional and non-functional requirements both. Here, then only the final design is made, then implementation and unit testing is done, integration and system testing is done, and operation and maintenance is done. Now you can see here, till the time the customer is not accepting the product completely, right? He is not approving the final prototype, the design, implementation, integration and system testing, operation, maintenance is not even followed up. So you can call it, this is cycle 1 and this is cycle 2 here. So there is a huge difference in the earlier models in this. Here, till the time the customer is not giving a green signal to all the functionalities given by the system in the prototype, further implementation, testing is not even taken up. Now, we can call a prototyping model as a quick partial implementation of the system. This is a quick partial implementation of the system created before or during the requirements definition phase. Your requirements definition phase is not ended till the time the customer is not approving your every functionality or every requirement. The end users of the system use the rapid prototype and then supply feedback to the project team for further refinement of the requirements of the system. Here, end user of the system is given the maximum importance so that the rapid prototypes which are generated are evaluated fully by the customer, and as per the feedback of the customer only further steps are followed. The refinement process continues until the user is satisfied. So here you can say the user satisfaction is the main criteria. When the requirements definition process has been completed through the development of the rapid prototypes, the detailed design is derived and the rapid prototype is fine-tuned using code or external utilities to create a final working product. That is why we divided the entire prototyping model in the 2 cycles basically. Number 1 for the requirements refinement basically. That is why we call it requirements definition process, and it is not completed till the time customer is not satisfied. And then cycle 2 go for the coding and implementation and maintenance and operation of the final product. Now, there are 2 approaches of the prototyping model. Throwaway prototyping. What is this? Sometimes it is not feasible to carry over the software product from the prototyping phases to the actual production phase, but to explicitly throw it away after the prototyping phases have come to an end. It means we are generating prototypes for satisfying the customer basically or the end user. Now what happens? We are generating multiple prototypes, one after the another, as per the refined requirements given by my user. Finally, the prototype which is approved by your user might be, it is not usable in the same form. We need to take up all the decisions and write it down and throw away that particular prototype, and we will be generating new prototype. That means throwing the prototype here becomes important, because it is not feasible to carry over this particular prototype. But all the functionalities of the end prototype, which is the final one, are definitely incorporated into the final product. Now, second is evolutionary prototyping model. What is this? After the number of iterations of the prototypes, if the user is satisfied, the last version developed can be engineered as a final product to be delivered. Now this is the case too. When we are generating the prototypes, the final prototype which is approved by your customer or the end user can be taken up, can be developed as a final product and given to the user. This is the case too. So in comparison to rapid throw-away prototyping, it offers a better approach which saves time as well as effort due to reusability. So here in throwaway prototyping, prototype is not reusable. But here in evolutionary prototyping, the prototype, which is the end prototype, is reusable and further can be developed into the final product. So this is a better approach, we can say. Now let's give a look to the advantages or strengths of the prototyping model. Customer can get early interaction with the system in the life cycle. It was a big drawback of V model and waterfall model that customer could not interact with the system in the early stages. Here it is solved. Customer can early interact with the system in the life cycle itself, and developers learn from customers' reactions or demonstrations of one or the more facets of the system behavior, thereby reducing the system requirements uncertainties. Here you have a one-to-one interaction of prototype with the customer. Customer is watching your prototype, its functionalities, so there are less chances of uncertainties in terms of requirements. The requirements are less probable to change now because the customer is judging, evaluating it and giving the feedback side by side. Missing functionalities can be easily figured out. You can see here all the missing functionalities, if present in any of the prototype, can be checked and can be changed with a gradual implementation in the next prototype in the evolutionary prototyping model. There is less room of confusion, miscommunication or misunderstanding. Customer and developer have a baseline to work against. More customer satisfaction is achieved here. Here in this model, the target is to achieve the customer satisfaction. Customer is interacting one-to-one with the system or with the prototypes. That is why there is a less room of confusion, miscommunication and misunderstanding. And here customer and developer has a baseline to work against. New or unexpected user requirements can be accommodated. Suppose in between evaluating the prototypes, customer or the end user comes up with some new idea or the new requirement. They can be incorporated, accommodated in the next prototype in this particular model. The model allows for flexible design and development, including multiple iterations through the life cycle phases. With every prototype, you can improve the design, you can improve the requirements, the overall structure of your prototype as per the new suggestions, feedback or the requirements generated by the end customer. The developed prototype can be reused by the developer for more complicated projects in the future. In case the developer has to start up with some new project which is of same domain, the same prototype can be reused also, saving time, effort and money. Now, prototype model, weaknesses or the disadvantages. It is a quick and dirty method basically. Why we call it quick and dirty method? Quick and dirty prototypes suffer from inadequate or missing documentation because we look forward to generate the quick prototypes, but in the same time documentation remains missing here. In the rush to create a working prototype, overall software quality or long-term maintainability may be overlooked. We look forward to develop a working prototype in a hasty, so the software quality and long-term maintainability is generally overlooked or left out somewhere. Sometimes a system with a poor performance is produced, especially if the developers in a hurry to build prototypes end up with the suboptimal solutions. In a hurry, generally the performance of the system might become poor as the developers tend to develop it in a hurry. So you can see, number one, inadequate or missing documentation can be there, software quality can be compromised, long-term maintainability can be overlooked, and it can be a poor performance due to hasty. Point 4. The customer may want to have the prototype delivered rather than waiting for the full well-engineered system. It can happen in between somewhere. Customer says, give me your partial developed system or a prototype instead of the fully developed system. Prototyping is a habit forming and may go on too long. Undisciplined developers may fall into a code and fix cycle, leading to inexpensive, unplanned prototype iterations. Now what happens? Whenever prototyping is used, it might happen that it becomes a habit and a customer is generating new requirements and new prototypes are getting generated, and the first cycle is stuck somewhere where the requirements are getting redefined and redefined. So it can lead to expensive, unplanned prototype iterations. The customer might lose interest in the product if he or she is not satisfied with the initial prototype. It can happen that if you are generating the first prototype with which the user is not happy and the user says, leave this particular product here in between, I don't want to continue, and loses his interest. So these are the disadvantages or weaknesses of your prototype model or the evolutionary prototyping model. Now, when to use the prototype model? When the requirements are not known upfront, when you do not know, in such kind of systems where you do not know which requirements can come up with the time, they are not clearly defined. When requirements are unstable or maybe misunderstood or poorly communicated. Again, no stability in the requirements, misunderstanding of requirements, no clarity in the requirements, prototyping model is used. When the developers are unsure of the optimal architecture or algorithms to be used. When developers do not know exactly which algorithms will be used in the future, a prototyping model can be used. When technical solutions are unclear to the team, when you do not have a technical solutions clear, prototyping model can be used. When you do not have an architecture or algorithms to be used clearly known, it is better to use your prototyping model. It can also be used if requirements are changing rapidly. In dynamic systems where the requirements keep on changing very frequently, this is the best solution, evolutionary prototyping model. In case where system is highly interactive, system is to be developed in terms of user interface, input-output screens, that is GUI, graphic user interface of the system needs to be developed very nicely, very good. In such particular cases, you can use the prototype model Again, to sum up, rapid prototyping model is well suited for user interface intensive systems where you need to have a very good user interface, such as display panels for control devices, interactive online systems, first of a kind products and decision support systems such as command and control or medical diagnosis, amongst others. These are some of the examples where the prototyping models can be used. So I hope all of you have learned today the evolutionary prototyping model in detail. We have seen where to use this particular model, how it works, advantages, disadvantages. Our next topic will be the spiral model, which is a very important topic. I hope all of you are enjoying the lectures. In case you are new to the channel, do subscribe, like and share the channel. So I will be soon back with the spiral model, which is SDLC module 4. Till then, bye bye, stay healthy, stay safe, be happy.